everyone, my name is Zeon, you are my remnants, and this is going to be the review of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Play Arts Kai, Cloud Strife, and Hardy Daytona. I had to get the Soldier Edition because I love Final Fantasy. I haven't played the game yet. Right now it's taking forever to copy the data disc over, so while that's doing that, we're going to review this. With the trusty blade of Zeon! Huzzah!
Oh my gosh, guys. The shipper is damaged. The shipper is damaged. They need to send me a new one.
This is packed exactly the same way as the other one is. Let's take this out. Alright, so this is the box. Nothing to write home about. It's big. And it's black. And yes, that is what she said. I mean, this isn't being sold at retail stores, so that's why. There's no window or what have you to see what's in it, because this is not going to be on store shelves, so what's the difference? But, you know, it's always nice if they kind of like go through the trouble of making the box nice, but this is all what you came to see anyway. You whores. Alright, I need two hands for this. Alright, got the Play Arts Kai Cloud that comes with this set. Very nice figure. The hair is like spot on. I'm loving like the shading, especially on the shoulders. These look great. These look like actual nuts and bolts like they're supposed to. The texture on the shirt's awesome. I like the dry brushing of this lighter blue on the pants, but I feel like his pants are like really like his hips just look huge. Is it just me, or does he have like childbearing hips? It's like whoop. Cloud has an hourglass figure.
Nailed it. I know. Thank you. Moving on.
I guess if you pose him properly, probably doesn't look too bad, but I've never liked the like sliding hips. That's always kind of meh. It's always a hit or miss. Not a bad figure. The leg, when it gets down to the legs though, there could be some improvements, but he's going to be on the bike anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And of course, he has Buster Sword, which is almost as tall as him. In case you guys are wondering, this is an old Buster Sword here, so this is how much bigger Play Arts has gotten since the old Play Arts days. It's crazy, same width almost, but just more length. Who doesn't want more length? And actually, so this is another comparison here, real quick. Again, just showing the massive difference in quality and size from old Play Arts. I'm okay with this. He comes with a lot of hands. We got, what? 4 sets of hands, it looks like? And this might be the hands for holding on to the handlebars, which is always good. Alright, well, the figure is good. I think it's the same figure they've already come out with, but it just comes with the bike. But I know that's not what you all came for. You came to see the Hardy Daytona, and that's also what I would like to see as well. Alright. Let's take a look. I assume this has a... Oh, there it is. Kickstand. Ooh. Alright, I can tell that some of these parts definitely look like they're reused from Fenrir, so we're definitely going to get Fenrir in here to do a comparison. I want to see how much stuff is actually reused on this thing. This stuff looks new down here. This looks new. I don't know about this bit. I think the back piece might be new. So there is some movement in the tires back here if you want to somehow get this thing look like he's banking. This does move very slightly, very stiffly. I would be very careful of that. And from what I've seen, there is no lighting feature on this bike like the Fenrir has, which is disappointing. The Fenrir has that bike. Remember, I was struggling with it, but at least it had it. So let's get Cloud on the bike real quick. Let's see how it looks. So far, I'm impressed, but I'm also a tiny bit underwhelmed because I'm under the impression that there's going to be some reuse in this bike. Maybe the Fenrir is the Daytona, and Cloud just tricked it out or something. I don't know. I don't think that's canon at all, but it could be. Who the hell knows? If anyone knows, tell me. I just thought of that. How is Final Fantasy VII canon work now that there's going to be a remake now that there is a remake of 7? How does that work with all the other material, the Crisis Cores of the world, and the little animated short that they did and stuff like that? How does that work? I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's get your big butt. Like I feel like if Tiny Tina saw Cloud. I hate this sliding piece on the hip. Definitely taking a point off for that. I never reviewed this figure before, but I hate sliding pieces on Play Arts figure. I thought they stopped doing it. I haven't seen one with it in a while, and it just drives me nuts. I think this is so ridiculous, and it just impedes mobility. There's no reason to have this flap over the thighs to like stop him from getting a full like bend. You know what I'm saying? I've never liked that. And it's normally on female characters too. Why the hell does Cloud have it? Oh, these do move. Okay, I was wrong. They move up and down. My bad. Alright, so we got Cloud on the bike. And it looks pretty good. This still bothers me back here. Great time to cut your nails, genius. Ow. Why? Why, Square? Why do you do this? Why do you... Ugh. Oh. I probably lost that. Where'd that go? Wow, that was a struggle and a half. So, overall, I think it looks pretty good. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of space for him really to get his foot. And even this little bit here is kind of bending down a little bit. I'm going to have to keep fiddling with it to try and really get his leg in the right spot. Oh, wait, maybe I did it. Maybe I just did it on camera. Well, that's a bit better. I wish that these came up, like slid up this thing, because having him trying to bend all this nonsense over to really look like he's riding it, I think is a bit harder than the Fenrir. But I think you can make it work, especially like at a quarter angle like this. Like that looks really good. Like that's awesome right there. That looks fantastic. But I'm still concerned about the reused parts. So let's bring in the Fenrir. And I'm really shocked. I was certain that a lot of the stuff on the Hardy Daytona was directly from the Fenrir. And I'll apologize. I was wrong. I'm really surprised. I was certain that these two front bits were the same. And although they do have a similar shape, as you can see, they are completely different pieces. The Fenrir's front wheel connects to the body. The Hardy Daytona's goes up to the steering column, and it's completely free here. Also, I was not sure how many wheels were on both of them. Fenrir has 2 front wheels, 1 big back wheel. Hardy Daytona has a front wheel and 2 big back wheels. They're the opposite. Even the treads on the tires are different. The Fenrir has these little circles here, and Hardy Daytona has actual, like, almost like a futuristic tire tread. I'm a bit more excited now than I was at the beginning of this. Alright, so we got these 2 bad boys to the side, and I was wondering if the exhausts were the same, and they are definitely not. Even the mechanical engineering and components underneath are not. And I'm a bit more impressed with the Hardy Daytona because I love the color separation here. Got here, it looks like we got some like, I don't know if this is bronze or gold. This looks like a different color than this. I could be wrong. We got gunmetal, we got some aluminum type. And there's just a lot of variation going on down in this color scheme. I'm liking this a lot. The backs are clearly different. So I was wrong, you guys. From the sides, you can see where I saw, especially these parts here and the front, but they're not the same. I can imagine that Cloud kept this bike and eventually turned it to that. I can see that. And that I'm okay with. I think that is a good progression, and it makes sense storyline-wise. I don't know if that's the case, but after looking at these 2 bikes, I could totally see that being the case. So I'm actually giving a lot more props to the Hardy Daytona now after doing this side-by-side comparison. I'm really surprised. So there is a lot of differences here. I feel a lot better about this now. So that's definitely going to go a long way with me when I grade this thing. Now, last but not least, I want to compare the new Hardy Daytona versus the old Hardy Daytona. Let's do that real quick. Alright, last comparison. Original Hardy Daytona versus new Hardy Daytona. And when I first saw this, I don't know why, I just looked at it and I was like, it just didn't look like the Hardy Daytona to me. It looked like the Fenrir with some mods. But now after looking at the original one, I'm like, oh yeah, it is the Hardy Daytona, it's just updated. Got the same grille in the front. This one is really small, this one is huge. The steering column goes up from the front tire. We have the vents on the side on the original. On the new one, they're separate and kind of protruding out, like tusks or horns almost. Now, the main difference I'm looking at right now is the exhaust. The exhausts on the original just come out the back, they're wrapped up. The new one, exhaust comes out from the bottom of the body all the way to the back, and they curve out, whereas these are just straight out exhaust. The back's a little bit different, but the overall feel is the same, in my opinion. This is just updated from this. I do love the mechanical detail, but on this new one as well, is pretty awesome. We're going to go into the final score, the positives, the negatives, and we're going to give this a score out of 10, because that's what we do on my figure reviews here. And we're going to see, is this worth adding to your collection? And just in case anyone's wondering, he does fit in a Detolf. So yeah, sweet. So we're going to go over the positives and negatives of this figure now. There are some things I really like about this. There's some things that the old bike did a lot better, and we're going to talk about that. Overall, this is a great figure, just like the last one. This is one of those items that you have to get up front, have to pre-order, get in advance, because if you don't, secondhand market, the price is just gonna go up, and it already has. People on eBay are already selling these bikes just by themselves for $300 plus. I've seen some go for $400, and that's without the game, without everything else that the Soldier Edition actually comes with. So this was one of those items that you needed to get in advance to save some money, as expensive as it already was. Now, with that said, we're going to go over the negatives first, and honestly, there's not as many negatives as I thought there were going to be. So one of the main negatives that I want to point out, compared to the last release, is that this bike does not have any lights to speak of. The last one had a headlight, and it had the rear light, which wasn't like too big of a deal, but it was still something alive if you wanted to take pictures or have it displayed at night or whatever. It was an option that you had, and I really like that. And they could have very easily done that on this one, and I don't know why they didn't. So that's definitely a negative. The other negative I'm going to put is actually on the figure itself. I feel like they could have improved this figure for this release, for the fact that you're going to be displaying him on the bike. The material they used on the hip, this rubber material, it kind of hinders mobility, and like I said, it makes that really ugly gap when you're trying to bend the figure over to reach the handlebars. So that's gonna knock it down a little bit. Positives though, overall the figure looks great, the bike looks great, and the main thing that makes me really happy is that there is not a lot of reused parts from Fenrir. When I first saw this bike, immediately I was like, it's just Fenrir with new stuff on it. But it's not, and that is a great thing. Besides the fact that you're spending a lot of money for this piece, had it been Fenrir with a bunch of stuff added onto it, that would have really taken this score down quite a bit. Another good thing is the bike is a really awesome evolution of the original Hardy Daytona that they came out with from Play Arts back in the day that I showed earlier. This, after having compared the two, definitely looks like the Hardy Daytona, but it's that next step, that next update, that next upgrade. So that's definitely good. And it's just a nice piece. And there's parts of it I like. One of the things I really like about it is all the mechanical pieces on the bottom are, they have a lot of color separation, which is good. On the Fenrir, it was just all gold. This makes a lot more sense to me. So overall, it's like, honestly, part of me wants to give this an 8 out of 10 because I have way less issues with this than I had with the Fenrir. The Fenrir was finicky. There was some QC issues. It didn't come with batteries, which was ridiculous. The manual sucked. This one doesn't even come with the manual because there's no options for this bike. Hey, quick revision. I was going to put all the packaging back away, and there actually is a manual for this thing, and it's way clearer than the old manual, and it tells you what hands work on it, and it also says here that there's a display that flips up. Okay, display. Is it this? Oh wait, I see it. I see the separation of the panels. Oh my goodness. There's a display. Oh, that's cool. Simple, looks like a sticker. Oh, it's so hard to tell now that I have him in a stupid detolf. Yeah, he has a little display with his gas and whatnot. That is cool. Okay. So this is definitely getting an 8 out of 10 for me. This is an A double figure. You can drop it down to a 7 out of 10 if you bought it on the aftermarket. How about that? Because I've seen the bike go for way more than obviously it was when you pre-ordered it. So put that into context. Really solid release. Obviously, they only made limited amounts of these, which is another reason why the price has gone up. I think they only made 5,000 of these, which is actually a lot if you think about it. But it's a really awesome piece. 8 out of 10, A double figure. If you guys got it, let me know, what do you think of this compared to the Fenrir? Which one do you like better? Do you like this one, or do you like the Advent Children version? I'm conflicted now. The Fenrir I love a lot. It has so many options and so many cool things. But there's something about this one and with the game Remake Cloud that's pulling at my heartstrings, I guess. So let me know. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below, what do you like better? What do you think of this bike? What do you think of the old one? And what do you think of the old Play Arts Hardy Daytona? Subscribe for more content. And as always, Zeon.